So many people who know me as someone who's left wing. I'm pretty progressive in a lot of my policies, and you'd be surprised to see this story for me because it does paint progressive left wing ideology as bad. But I think it's a healthy environment to address these stories and to sort of meet in the middle with many people, because I think a lot of people will agree with a big point of this video. So yeah, I guess let's just jump into it. A woman in the UK was convicted of a hate crime after she was attacked by her partner or whoever it may be, but her attacker. And in a text message to a friend, she said the F slur. So I think most people would agree that this woman shouldn't be in trouble. If you live in a place with free speech laws, it's disgusting to hear that you can just text someone, and even if you say something offensive, you shouldn't go to any sort of like conviction for this, right? Um, but apparently, the UK and Europe as a whole has more strict policies than the US, so I'm very thankful for that. Um, is she bad in saying that? I don't know. I think there's some nuance here. Like, obviously, I think it's bad to say the F slur. Should you be able to say it? Sure. I think there should be consequences that, maybe the courts don't need necessarily decide. Like, if someone says the F slur and you get hit, you can't really be surprised. But, obviously, I want to protect your right to say that. But obviously, there's consequences with everything. If you say the N word to a bunch of dudes, they're going to swing on you, right? So, I think there's some nuance in that discussion, but to just say it as a whole, like, you should be able to. Now, her attacker was not jailed, and everyone understandably is mad at that. If this in fact is all true, that the attacker didn't get in trouble, but the woman did because she just said a bad word, that's a dystopian world that they've been painting for a while now, to show like we're going to get more mad at an F slur than the attack of a woman, seemingly sort of anti-feminist, because we're trying to be so woke. That's the picture they're painting. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think this is awful and disgusting, but I also don't know the full situation, because even after reading the article, when I click on their citations, I don't see, this is the woman, by the way, I don't see any reports of this coming from the courts. Now, granted, I don't know how any of the courts work outside of the US. I'm pretty blessed to have a country where I can just go through court documents and it's pretty easily available. But there are some times where you have to like ask a county or reach out, and it's not that readily, but there's a lot of that I can find. So I don't know how these work, but the Daily Mail article and the other articles that are referenced that I've seen so far, they just kind of reference each other. So that's a red flag. Like, I can't find easily the info to verify. Um, but again, I'm not saying it's completely fake. I feel like I can't trust this, fully. If it is fully about this case is correct, it's fully correct, then yeah, this is bad. This woman should not be going to jail over this. And I know they have pretty strict hate crime laws, but that just seems excessive. But at the same time, when I look through the article and I read this, I just don't see anything pertaining to that. So I tried looking at how you could access these documents to clarify, and I didn't know what to do. And so I looked up how to search these on ChatGPT, and there's ways to do it that I was having struggle with. And I think I need to contact the courts to find this information, because so far, using the routes that ChatGPT told me, I just can't find her court documents that readily. But also, she could still be in an ongoing case. It could still be something that is being processed, and this guy hasn't been named, so it's not like we can search his stuff either. I wanted to even reach out to this person, but I feel like it's in bad taste. I did not know how to address this, and this story even popped up initially when Tucker Carlson was talking to Pierce Morgan about it. And Tucker Carlson is using this as a way just to keep saying the F slur. He just throughout the interview is just like F slur, F slur, F slur. I don't like it. He should be able to say that, though. I think in telling the story, it's fine. I think him trying to really go, Pierce to say it is just childish. But that's Tucker. He likes the views, and that's how I even found the story, was him saying it excessively. So it's funny that how this works. I think again, this person should be saying it. Should be allowed to say it. I think he should be allowed to say it. I think it's stupid, but I think as an audience, we have the choice to say I don't want to watch him. As for the article itself, I just don't know the truth behind it. And I feel, you know, there should be, obviously, like the US, we're never going to have this issue because we have such strong freedom of speech laws. Granted, things could be taken away. We've seen it with the people being deported, because if they were like anti-Israel stances, or people like Kilmar Abrigo who didn't have his correct due process. That is scary, and I think freedom of speech can die very quickly. But I think right now we have such strong-headed, hard-headed Americans who won't allow that. That makes me a little bit at peace. But this is still awful, and I think as someone who is, I like to think fair, I think there's a world where if this is the right strongest point, it's sad. It's sad that like the left can't agree that this is terrible. Like you should not be arresting women for saying just the F slur. Um, Now, granted, again, we're taking it at full face value. I hope it's not as true as the article is painting. If it is, I think it's disgusting. I think the person should be in trouble who attacked her. But again, I'm filling in a lot of blanks. I'm fighting an enemy that I don't know even exist. Given the information I have. So I just wanted to put it out there that I think this is me trying to be as my most fair. Is that I think I'm a pretty freedom of speech guy, and to hear it being attacked in other countries just makes me sad. And this person, I really hope she gets her justice, but we'll see. People in the case like Tucker, I think he is disingenuous, but I'm glad that this story came up because then I found about it and I can show people that I have this sort of new, because I question myself, am I just this partisan hack? And I think it's nice to have this nuanced ability to say I don't agree with my points. And I think stories like this sicken me, and it makes me question a little bit of where my stance is fully with freedom of speech. But I like that. I like that it challenges me, and I think it should challenge you as well. But I'm scared people are going to look at this and be like, I told you the left wanted to blah, 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 and just immediately go to their spectrum and their most right spectrum they can. So that's why I refrain from doing stories, but I also think have to be an adult and say, you know what, that's why we're here. We're here to have these uncomfortable conversations. And I just hope that lady gets her piece. It just sucks. But thanks. Peace.